Hello and welcome to Tuesday NEWSDAY, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. This is October 29th, 2019. Just real quick, I wanted to give an uber thanks to everyone here. We just hit 25,000 subscribers on this channel, and that's absolutely insane. I can't believe how amazing the VR community is, and it fills me with so much joy to see so many people that are excited about VR. So to celebrate, I'm doing my first sub special, and that's going to be a 24-hour VR stream on Twitch. Not this weekend due to BlizzCon, but the next. I'll have more announcements when it comes closer, but it should be an absolute blast to suffer in VR for 24 hours. That's all for the announcements. Let's get right into the news. If you are one of the people wanting to buy an Oculus Quest soon, specifically for the new PC VR capability announced recently, or you're waiting to buy the official Oculus Link cable coming soon, then it may be worth waiting just a minute before pre-ordering the Oculus Link, at least if you're trying to save money. The price is not totally official, but Oculus did state that the Link will cost around $80 for just the cable alone. That's a very expensive USB cable, but it's kind of for a good reason. This isn't just any standard USB-C cable. Apparently Oculus had a really hard time finding a company that already made a cable that fit their quota, so they just made their own. Recently, on a Reddit post in the official Oculus Quest subreddit, an Oculus product manager, Hi-Fi Potato, mentioned that the specs that Oculus used to create the Quest Link will be available to other manufacturers. This means that we could very well be seeing VR accessory companies working to create either a cheaper or superior cable that is used for the purpose of PC VR. That same rep had this to say on Reddit. The Oculus Link cable is quite thin and flexible when compared to standard USB 3 active cables, but length, data integrity, flexibility, ergonomics, and weight were all a factor. We are also releasing the specs of our cable, so if a third party wants to build their own and sell it, they are welcome to do so. I should also mention that it's not entirely clear which third party cables that are available right now will work with the Quest. Like I said, the whole reason Oculus is making their own cable is because they couldn't find one that was long enough and was capable of transferring data at the speeds they needed while providing power. So yeah, this cable is a little special, as you already know. It's an active optical cable, which yes does mean in addition to fast data transfer, you can also stay charged up. Quote, to be clear, the cable is an active optical cable to allow it to be thinner and longer while still being in spec from a signal integrity standpoint. And the shape of the cable is customized for better reliability and cable routing on the headset. From a protocol, latency, and throughput perspective though, it's identical to any other USB 3 cable. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think it would be more than worth it to wait up before a pre-order for myself or whoever else you want to watch to test out a bunch of different cables, or to even see if some third-party hero comes in with a little bit more affordable option. One more bit of news on the Quest, it seems inevitable that the Quest will be getting a digital indicator for your IPD, just like the Index or original Rift have when you're adjusting your IPD. Currently, when you are making adjustments, there's no actual number attached to the physical slide, so there's always just a little bit of guesswork that goes along if your IPD gets knocked out of whack. A recent hardware teardown of the Quest showed that there is in fact the physical capability of this feature, it's just not implemented on the software side yet. According to Road to VR, an Oculus spokesperson confirmed that they are considering implementing the feature, there's just not a specified time that it'll happen. Moving on from Oculus now. Recently, Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear series, kind of a legend of game design over the past few decades, spoke with Rocket Beans Gaming about virtual reality and why he hasn't touched the industry yet. Well, it turns out he actually does want in on the VR market, saying, quote, well, I want to create something where you don't have to get 3D motion sickness, but for VR, I'm really interested in it, but I think I'm not free enough, end quote. Kojima talked about how gaming up to this point has been creating content within a literal frame, whether it be any mobile gaming platform, a PC, or a console, and VR breaks that boundary. VR is kind of freed from the limitation of this frame aspect, so I want to do it, definitely, but I don't have the time right now to concentrate on VR. He also talks about how streaming platforms like the Google Stadia or other cloud-based streaming platforms will take over within the next 5 years, and he's worried that the frame rates needed to comfortably stream a VR game are just not attainable at this point, so VR needs some time to develop. And what I'm hearing out of all this is that VR has a fundamental block with well-established big-name studios and developers at this point in time. Making a gigantic budget VR game pretty much isn't worth the time or monetary investment required to put something out there. Not only is it not as easy to make a good VR game because all the mechanics are so new, but it also takes a very real effort to make something that offers something new to the market. It's a very hard sell for big name developers to seize development of a flat game that they know they can make a profit off of and sell hundreds of thousands of copies, and instead make a VR game that will sell in the thousands. That's also why the only real AAA games that we have seen succeed in VR that weren't ports from flat games have been funded by the bottomless wallet that is Facebook. It just doesn't make sense for a big company to make a multi-million-dollar game and then lose money on it. Also, there's the very real fear of development cycle obsolescence. Basically, if a game takes 3 years to develop, will the game even make sense on the new hardware? If gloves and full body tracking become the standard in 3 years, and you've been developing a game from the ground up to not support full body tracking and use only controllers, there's a bit of a problem. So ironically, I think some of the major problems keeping devs that are passionate about VR out of VR is the quick growth and ever-developing hardware advances, mixed with all the risks that come along with the new market. So yeah, it seems that it's not so much that VR isn't worth the big devs' time. It's more that VR isn't worth the time dedication for the risk, at least not yet. But we've got some amazing smaller developers and all these big games coming out soon, so really I think it's all just in due time. Meme break! Let's take a look at a clip posted by user KittySpread on r/whatcouldgowrong. Okay, so Oculus Quest, outdoors, and well, I hope the Quest was alright. As unconventional as this approach was, I can bet that the quality of immersion for that guy may have just sold another unit for Oculus. And back to the news. It has been a month since the HTC Vive Cosmos was released, and well, the latest beta update finally is good enough for me to be comfortable with putting together an actual review. The latest patch improves both low light and regular light tracking on the controllers, as well as improving compatibility with the Vive wireless adapter. I personally was having problems with tracking, and a new update has been releasing almost every week to improve the situation. The latest one certainly has improved that situation, and that's great, but I still don't understand the price right now. Either way, later this week, I should have a Cosmos review up. Are you waiting for the Quest Link, and do you think that you'll be pre-ordering it right away? Let me know. I'm curious how many Quest users are really going to be utilizing it, or if it's something more of an enthusiast thing. If you are interested, be sure to get on that Twitch game. We will be streaming today. Actually, as this video goes live, I'll probably also be live, so hop on over and say what's up. Also, I want to give a very special thanks to everyone you see here for being an amazing Patreon supporter. Soon here, I'm going to be offering a little merch pack on Patreon. I just have to get a few things completed first, and that option will be open. Alright, and that's the week's news. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.